everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to share with you some early chapter books for early readers. About 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I did a video quite similar to this for early listener chapter books. So my girls were transitioning from picture books onto longer text, but more text that I was reading to them or their dad was reading to them, so not reading themselves. And I've just re-watched that video. I do sound a little bit pretentious, but I do also share loads of really good books. So if your child's at that stage where they've really enjoyed picture books, but they have maybe got quite stamina for listening and you'd like to read longer text to them, then go check that video out. I'll link it above. Today though, I want to share with you the books that my girls have been blazing through as they've started on their journey to read their own chapter books. It feels like it's happened super quickly. We've gone from a stage where they had the ability to read longer texts, but were probably daunted by longer text or daunted by texts that had less and less pictures in. But it just seems over the last couple of weeks, they seem to have really got over that and just allow blazing through chapter books that they are really enjoying. So I thought I'd share some that we've found that are really good, because the problem is it's a minefield. Children's books are a minefield. It's really hard to know unless you've read them whether they're actually any good, whether they are quality texts or whether they're just a bit of dross, to be perfectly honest, because there are so many books out there you kind of have to wade through the bad stuff to get to the good stuff. So these are ones that we've read, tried and tested, and that the girls have enjoyed. Some are by well-known authors, some are by less well-known authors, but I thought I'd just show you what we liked. So I'm going to dive in. The first one is Julia Donaldson. So obviously, if you've got an avid reader who's enjoyed picture books, they're going to have gone through all the Julia Donaldson picture books, I'm sure. And she does some of the books that are really good for that next stage of reader, and this is one we picked up called Julia Donaldson, The Dinosaur Diary. I really like it because the chapters are short and also are written, so they're written in the days, so you can read it day by day, quite similar to A Killer Cat, which I recommended in my last video, how you can do it day by day. So that's one to look out for. Another one my girls have really enjoyed reading is The Worst Witch series by Jill Murphy. So this was one we had to have a little bit of conversation because it's set at a boarding school for witches, and my girls had no idea what a boarding school was. So we had to have a conversation about what a boarding school was, but it's really nicely written, and Jill Murphy does a really good job of explaining what it's like at the school and kind of setting the scene for you. And then there's obviously a series of them. We're just going on to the second one now, but they do stand alone, so you can just read them on their own. Another of our favourite authors is Anne Fine. So in my last book I recommended The Diary of a Killer Cat, and that was by Anne Fine, and this one, very tatty because it's my very old version from when I was a child, is Bill's New Frock, and again it's really lovely, slightly longer, no colour pictures in this, but it has got a few nice illustrations inside, and is a really good story for opening conversations about sort of gender and what makes a girl, what makes a boy. And this boy basically wakes up one day and his mum puts a dress on him and sends to school and won't listen when he says, no, I don't wear dresses. And then he gets treated completely differently all day at school, and kind of shows how boys and girls might be treated differently. But it's a really interesting book, and the girls really like this one. So Bill's New Frock. Another famous author that we're really fond of is Dick King-Smith, and this Sophie Adventures, they're brilliant. Again, really setting the right kind of tone and level for those early readers. This book is a book that has 3 books in one, so you've got Sophie Snail, Sophie's Tom, Sophie hits 6, so good for that kind of age group. And again, nice illustrations with lots of details, and there are some good illustrations in there. Oh, just lost Emily's bookmark, and a page is fallen out. Oh dear, it's all going to pot. But yeah, really nice. Sophie's a little bit of a cheeky little girl, but she nothing really naughty, just a little bit mischievous, and you know, likes things to be right. like things to be done right. So she gets annoyed when children don't do things the right way and things. But I thought we really like this one. And Dickens Smith has got loads of other books as well. This is another one we've picked up from the library called The Adventurous Snail. Again, really nice length of text. This one could be read easily in one sitting. If you've got a child who just likes to read, they could easily sit through and read that, and it's got nice short chapters as well. Kes Gray does some lovely early chapter books for children. Again, black and white illustrations, but really nice cartoon illustrations in there, and the text's nice and big for children to read. This one's called Daisy and the Trouble with School Trips, and we really enjoyed this one from the library. And yeah, it's just a nice, funny, easy reading for children. I was recommended the Isadora Moon series, so we picked up one of these from the library as well. This one's called Isadora Moon Meets the Tooth Fairy. Really, really lovely stories. The idea is that she's half fairy. Her mum's a fairy, her dad's a vampire, so she's half fairy, half vampire. It's how she kind of navigates her way through their life. The illustrations are all black, white and pink. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, there's a Netflix show, Vampirina. Is it Netflix? It might not be Netflix actually. Vampirina. That reminds me a little bit of that kind of sort of character. But my girls have really liked that. This one's just, again, nice length. You could read it over a couple of sittings, but lovely story. This author is an author I've read as an adult, Sophie Kinsella, and so I've picked this one up from the girls as well, and it's Mummy, Fairy and Me, and it's quite similar to the Isadora Moon one, and that her mummy looks normal but actually is not like any other mummy. She's actually a fairy, and that when the character grows up she will become a fairy as well. So I think, again, it's a really nice story. Lovely large texts, but a longer text to kind of build up their reading stamina. This was one of the ones that one of my daughters picked up in the library. She's a little bit obsessed by cats at the moment. So this is called Dr. Kitty Cat. And then again, there's a series of these. This one's Dr. Kitty Cat rescues Pumpkin the hamster. And she read another one. She actually was struggling to get to sleep the other night, and I went up and she'd managed to read the entire book in like 45 minutes, I think. But again, nice size text. There are some illustrations, a bit like the Isadora Moon one, just a couple of colours, so black, white and red, I think, in this one. But you've got lots of things, lots of little bits to look at. So my girls really like it. It's got the real animals rather than cartoon animals. And then finally, the last one I wanted to just share with you is something that we've had in our collection for reading to the girls for a long time, and they've just started now to read them to themselves, and that is the Disney books. We've picked up over the last couple of years in charity shops and, you know, free libraries and things like that, swap shops. So I've barely ever paid anything for these. They are readily available. Any car boot sale, you'll find them, loads of them, and you'll find all the different Disney films in them. And we've probably got about 30 of them. But they are really well written, I think. And they are a really nice length. And the illustrations are still really good because they're the familiar ones that they'll know from the films. So we've got loads of these books, and the girls are now starting. They're lovely ones to take in a car journey, for example, because it's a nice length. If you've got like a half an hour car journey, they can read one of these. And I've done a whole blog post on why we did a lot of reading of Disney stories before we then actually went on and watched the Disney films, especially if it's something like Lion King that your children might find quite intimidating or scary. Reading the text before you actually watch the film really helped with that. So I can link that in the description box down below if you're interested in reading why we read the books first and what benefits I think that has. But yeah, that's my last one. I really hope you enjoyed this video. loads of ideas for early chapter books there. I would love more ideas because at the moment my girls are absolutely blitzing through the books, and that's why I refuse to actually buy brand new books at the moment, because they're just going through them so quickly. And these early chapter books I feel like are good for reading over 2 or 3 sessions. Some of them you can read in one session if they want to sit and read for 20 minutes, but because they're reading them so quickly, I'm just finding secondhand and library is just a way forward at the moment. So if you've got any authors you absolutely love, or any particular early chapter books that you think would be great, I'd love to hear them in the box below. And if I get enough, I might do another video to tell you another 10 or 15 books that have been recommended too. Right, I'll catch you next time for more videos coming your way soon. Bye!